Welcome back to Global War 1939. We are moving on to KMT USA's turn before passing things back to Hilltop and the Italians. So for the KMT, they have $8 to spend. We'll be getting 2 cavalry units. For the Americans, they saved $1 from last round, so they got 113. This round, we are going with a naval base for 10, 1 Marine for 3, and then we'll go with 7 heavy bombers. These are the flying fortresses. They're essentially just like the medium bombers. They do cost $2 more. However, you get 3 dice per unit at 4. So quite hefty if used properly. So the bombers are $98, infantry 3, spending 10 on the facility, saving 2 for the next round. All right, let's look at our options for movement for China, and then we'll get into the USA. So for the Chinese, Japan owns a big chunk of China. We cannot tolerate this anymore. This needs to end. So we do have numerous battles to declare. However, they're all walk-ons except for 1 engagement. So where we're essentially going, we're going to retake back everything except for these 4 along the Chinese proper border. So we're going into here. How we're going to get there? We're going to take 1 tank, come up to this territory, blitz into the objective. Same thing with the second tank is going to come into this territory and then blitz into these Japanese units. So these 2 territories are back in China's hands. The 2 infantry from this territory is just going to walk in and grab that one. Same thing with these 2 infantry. They're going to walk in to the Communist China territory, and we're going to flip that to the KMT. And we are allowed to do that. However, this is not a liberation. Usually, when an allied nation liberates another territory, just like we did with the Philippines, the British actually captured the Philippines, but it flipped to the Americans. This situation is not like that. Once a KMT unit captures Communist China territory away from the Japanese, it goes to the KMT. Cool. All right. This territory, we're going to walk in with 1 infantry. So that's now back. Yunnan is now back in China's control. The rest of our units are just going to walk in. The 5 artillery and the last tank is going to walk in to this territory here. So that is our really only engagement outside of just a bunch of walk-ins and blitzes. And of course, we're going to bring in our fighter as well for support. All right, let's get our board set up here. All right, so these are light tanks. They're nothing too special, but they do attack at a 4, so not too bad. Artillery don't have any infantry support because most of them got killed off. So we do need to rebuild that, unfortunately. Can you see everything somewhat? Okay. All right, so for the artillery, we got 5 dice at 3. Nothing. Oh my goodness. Nothing at all. Not good. 3 at 4. All right, a little better. Got 1 hit, 4, 11, and 7. You can barely see that, can you? All right, 1 last unit. The fighter at 7. So, a 10. No, well. Okay. Defense, 2 at 4. 8, 9. Perfect. So let's do that again. 5 at 3. All right, so we got our 1 hit. We got a 1, 8, 6, 9, 11. Chinese are not doing a good showing. 1 at 4. 9. Can you see that? 9. Perfect. All right, the 2 Japanese units are now dead, and this territory converts back to China. Fantastic. More importantly, we didn't lose anything. That's what we want. So there's still a couple of Japanese units on the map that are not in their city locations. There's a bunch up here. They added 3 more infantry last round and a bunch of mechs, cavalry. The Russians are coming in to help us out. So we're hoping next round, most, if not all of China will be back under KMT control. So we'll see how it all works out. That is it for the Chinese. Moving on to the Americans. All right, welcome back for the Americans. The Americans have a couple of options this round. We're 2 battles to declare. There could be a third one in South Africa, but we'll wait for next round for that. So we have 2 battles to declare. One is in C-Zone 107. They do have 5 subs. So some people were calling me crazy last round, leaving all those transports exposed. Yes, maybe, but they served their purpose. Their purpose was to get bulk up the Philippines to such a state the Japanese wouldn't be able to recapture it, which they did that. Perfect. Their second task was to lure a Japanese Navy into that sea zone, but the target had to be big enough to get a significant amount of resources dedicated to that battle by the Japanese, which they did. They conducted 3 subs here, which we already destroyed on the UK's turn, and now 5 more subs are going to be sunk here. And of course, subs are a lot easier to kill on defense. I had a feeling he did have 11 at the end of his turn. I had a feeling they would have played cat and mouse for a round or 2 with our Navy, constantly staying out of range from us, and we just didn't want to deal with that. So lure him into a situation where he has no choice but to attack, allowing our main Navy to come in and destroy him. So what we have in C-Zone 120, we have 2 battleships, a cruiser, 6 destroyers, 2 naval fighters, and 3 aircraft carriers. And he's got 5 subs, all at a 2. And of course, we also have our fighters in the Philippines that will come out. So we're hoping that this will be 1-round combat. We said that before, and it never worked out for us. We are also coming in with 4 transports. That'll be in the non-combat phase. The sub up in Midway in C-Zone 128 is going into this Japanese convoy box, move 3 spaces. Now, what this will do, they're not going to lose any money out of this, because on their turn, at the end of their turn, if the sub's still here, yes, they will lose 4. However, they do have a destroyer here. I highly suspect destroyer will come in here, which is kind of what I want, because it'll keep that destroyer away from their main Japanese Navy. So when the Americans do engage this at whatever point, there'll be 1 less ship that we have to worry about, right? Good. Okay, let's get this on the board. And they'll also be going in with 3 more destroyers from C-Zone 89. So lots of stuff going in. So 1 battle was just a walk-in, and this one will be an actual fight. And like I said before, they all defend at a 2. So not very scary. All right. Now, the aircraft carriers are not actually going to do anything in this battle. He doesn't have any fighters, so they're not going to engage. Okay, so we have nine destroyers. All right, 9 dice, 9 destroyers, perfect. All out of 4. All right, so we got let's take out our misses. So we got a 10, a 12, a 6, a 5, and a 6. So none of those are any good. But we got a 4, 3, 3, 3. So that's 4 that we needed. Perfect. For the cruiser, three naval fighters, and then 2 regular fighters. I believe the naval are at 6. I'll have to double check it, but we'll roll for a 6. I don't want to roll a higher without, and I don't want to stop the film. All right, so these are all out of 6. All right, so take out our misses: a 9, an 8, 11, an 8, 2 more hits, 6 and a 1. That's more than what we needed. They return fire. They have 5 at 2. All right, so we got 10, 11, 7, 5, and a 1. So they did get 1 hit. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. We will tank that on the aircraft carrier. So we don't lose anything, but one of our carriers are damaged, which is fine because we're going to build a naval base in that sea zone, and it'll just get repaired. All right. Our fighters. Okay. So how we're going to just place our fighters. 4 of our fighters are actually going to go back on the Philippines. And the reason for that, we could land them on the carriers, but if the Japanese attack us, then our fighters will defend at their normal stats. However, if they're on the Philippines, then they can scramble. There is a radar tower there, so they get a +1 on defense, making them a little bit stronger. So we're going to put 4 of those there. And we would put more. There's no sense because I can only scramble up to 4. And the other 2, so the naval fighter and the tactical will stay on one of the non-damaged carriers. All right, that is it for attacks. Let's get into non-combat movement, unit placement, and then oh, I forgot to place the Chinese. My apologies. So the Chinese cavalry will go in Sichuan. All right. Non-combat moves. All right, so we got our 4 transports. There certainly will be coming over and accompanying the Navy. So 1 attack transport, 3 regular. They're going to come over with the 3 heavy artillery. The Marine. And then I'm allowed 4 more. So 4 more infantry out of the Philippines. Now we're kind of emptying the Philippines. It is a city. Japanese Navy is too far away. Even if they made a play for it, we would just they have to stay, like, they're a space behind. So even if they come here, they're within range of striking. They'll never get to the Philippines. In Sea Zone 133, we have a battleship, a cruiser, a destroyer, a transport, and an attack transport. So what we're going to do with them, We're going to bring them up to 135. And with that, we'll get 2 amphibious tanks and 2 Marines. And that's up in this Russian territory over here. Can you see that? No. Yeah, so the 2 tanks and the 2 infantry landed in that territory. So it gives us another possible thing that we can do. Gives the Japanese something else to think about. Okay, over the Atlantic, what are we going to do? So we have a cruiser and a transport up in 25. So we're going to go down to 30, 51, 50. And we're going to drop them off here. We're going to activate 2 more countries. So we're going to take an artillery and an infantry from New England. The artillery is going to go in Peru. And the infantry is going to go into Colombia. Unfortunately, we can't get to the 3rd guy. Technically, we can activate all 3 if we had the transport in the sea zone. However, that would put us in range of the Axis Navy, and they'll just come in and sink it. So then it'd be kind of a waste. And it's not worth the $1 extra. So he'll go here. He'll go here. That does give America 2 more infantry to use. Yeah. So everything kind of works out there. And we're not going to do anything here. We're just going to wait. These guys really can't do much. They're not going to attack. So this guy in Santa Cruz will more likely come over here, or all 4 in Santa Cruz. And then we'll just clean up the rest of this next round. We have 2 artillery, you know, a battleship for bombardment, a cruiser for bombardment if we need it, medium bomber against 4 infantry. They'll just move around, play cat and mouse for a turn or 2. Not a big deal. All right, unit placement. And that is all going over here. So we do have a military base in the Philippines, so we'll be dropping another guy in there. Our naval base will go into 107. And that way we can repair that damaged carrier without having to move or anything. It'll just get repaired. No big deal. And then our bombers will come up into San Francisco. So from there, they have a range of 7. So they can easily get to the Philippines or anywhere else without much worry. Okay. Well, that is it for the Americans. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day. All right, and income for both nations. KMT is, so they got 5, 6, 7. They had 8 for their income, and then they got the Burma roads back open, so they get 5. They have 13 total. The Americans, they get $80 for their base income, 25 bonus, 8 for Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia, Peru, and then 2 that they saved. So they have a total of 115 to spend on the next round. Okay, well, again, thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day.